so I'm going to do mine over here. Okay, so temperature changes. So that was your task, right? Just to go over this and see how yours compares to what I did over here. Start. So the temperature at midday was 3 Celsius, 3 positive Celsius. By evening, the temperature was -5 Celsius. So here is how I would think about this. Here's 3 positive plus something over here, and now it's -5. Right? So how do we find that change? Well, you can set up an equation. That's one way of doing it, right? And instead of x, let me change it to, instead of question mark, let me change that to x. Now, to find the change, and actually, I'm going to write C for change, because that's what we're looking right. We're looking to find out what the temperature change was. So subtract 3 from this side, subtract 3 from this side, and we get that the change in temperature, -5 minus 3. So if you write that down, that says -5 minus 3. If you're okay doing it like that, you know it's -8. If you want to change that to an addition, then you can rewrite it like that. Either way, you get -8. So the two expressions that I could have used to find the change, if you look here, -5 minus 3, which is this one. Is there anything that says -5 plus positive plus -3? Not this one. Not this one, because that doesn't give me -8. This one gives me -8, and this one does not give me -8. So the only one is that one. So to find the change in temperature, what did I really do? So to find the change in temperature, I subtracted, or depending on whether, let's say, you use 1 or 2, I subtracted, to find the change in temperature, I subtracted the final temperature, which was -5, the final temperature, and I'm going to write it like that, minus the initial temperature, or the starting temperature, however, let's call it that starting temperature. The starting temperature. Okay. Now, if you did it the other way, if you thought about it the other way, you can say I added. I changed that to an addition problem, and I added -5 plus -3. So maybe, you know what? I want to take that out, and I want you to focus on this. Let me take that back. Okay, so I subtract the final temperature minus the starting temperature. So to find the change, to find change in temperature, all you gotta do is subtract the final minus the starting temperature. I want you to keep that in mind. Okay, so let me scroll down. Okay, so there's another problem here. Next day, the temperature was -7 at midnight, so I'm going to start with -7. So let me write. So the temperature was -7. Sorry. By next day, the temperature had risen by 11. So risen by 11 means that I'm adding a positive integer, right? It's going to go up, and we want the final temperature. So I have the starting temperature. I have the change. This is the change. It's a positive change in this case, and I'm looking for the final temperature. So this one is simple enough. What's my final temperature? So first of all, let me locate any of the other calculations to see if any of them match with what I have. I have -7 plus 11. Is there a -7 plus 11? Yeah, there is one here. There's another one here. Remember, our answer here is +4. So this gives me +4, that one gives me +4, this does not, and this does not. What was the temperature next day? Well, to find the change in temperature, to find the final temperature, right? What did I do? I added starting temperature. Okay, and you guys can obviously write it in your own words. Starting temperature to the change in temperature. Change in temperature. Okay, and blah, blah, blah to get my final temperature. Okay, so in this one, final temperature equals starting plus change, right? Anytime you want the final temperature, you get the starting temperature and whatever changes, did it increase, decrease, and you get your final temperature. C, here's a calculation. Find out the calculation. Here's a calculation. Find out the answer to the calculation. Okay, let me scroll this up. Let me make this smaller. Right here, okay. Only because I need to see all that. All right, so 5. So here's 5. Subtract it. Subtract. What do you call negative 11? You can change it to this if you like. And it becomes that. So the answer to the problem is 16. Now, which of these story questions fits the calculation? So it was extremely cold at midnight. During the morning, the temperature was 5. Okay. By midnight, it had reached negative 11. What was the temperature at midnight? Sorry, but midday, it had reached negative 11. What was the temperature at midnight? Can I use this storyline for this expression over here? No. Because this is my starting temperature. This is my mid temperature. That's not my change. And they're asking me for my temperature at midnight. There's absolutely no way I can find what the temperature is at midnight. If they said the temperature during the morning, the temperature rose by 5. I'm sorry, that's not even the starting temperature. I take that back. That's the change. So at midnight there was. Okay. Oh, take it back. Take it back. Here's my midnight. Oh my God, Mr. Cho can't read. Here's the midnight. Right in the morning. So it's the midnight, and then during the morning it rose by 5. So whatever temperature was at midnight is going up by 5. By midday, so I guess by midday, because of that change, it got to negative 11. What was the beginning temperature? Am I reading this right? Can I use this to, so again, can I use this story to, does this story match this expression? I don't think it does. Okay, let's look at the bottom one, the middle one. The temperature at midnight was negative 11. Okay, so that's my starting temperature. I'm okay with that. But midday, the temperature was 5. So midnight, midday, it's 5. Okay. So I know there's a change here, a positive change of 16. Okay, so from midnight, sorry. All right, and then what was the temperature change? So can I use that for this? Okay, and the last one, at midday, the temperature was 5. So midday, temperature was 5. And then the temperature fell by 11. So by falling, it means that I'm going to decrease in temperature. So it's going to get cold. So I'm adding negative 11 to it. And just by looking at what was the final temperature, well, the final temperature is what? 5 plus negative 11 is negative 6. So this definitely does not match. This definitely does not match. And the only one that can match that one is this one. Okay. So so again, if we go by change, what was the change? Change is final minus start. So if you look back at the problem, we're looking for the change. What was the final temperature? The final temperature was 5 minus, and what was the starting temperature? Negative 11. So this matches that. Okay. So one of the things that hopefully you got or maybe notice is that I have a little relationship here. Change equals final minus start. And I can play with this to find out what final is and what start is. Now, if I subtract, so let's say, let me add s to both sides. If I add s to both sides, this goes away. And I get that final, for the final temperature, I get change plus starting. So I have, let me write this down, SC equals F minus S. I can also have that final is change plus S. And from that equation, let's see if I can find out what the starting temperature is. So from this equation, if I subtract C from both sides, I have that the starting temperature is F minus C. You're going to need that on Monday. Okay, so this relationship, these three relationships are going to be needed on Monday. Okay, so from 1, we got 2 and 3. Okay, is that it? Well, and obviously you can explain it. Okay, that's it.